So guys, Emir of Kano Sanusi has taken on the Nigerian politicians on the level of psychophancy amongst them. Take a look, and he said Nigeria is a classless society where you have highly educated people in government who behave like illiterates and turn to praise singers. Emir of Kano Sanusi blasts Nigerian politicians in power. You may not understand what Emir of Kano is saying. A typical example is that of Edo State, where the Edo State governor took his praise singers down to Ekiti State to be praising him, the best governor in Nigeria, the best governor all over the world. You just find out that these people have turned leadership into something else. I mean, now Nigerians have been blasting Wiki as he was spotted with his sons in Dubai attending meetings. Nigerians are wondering if this meeting is state-sponsored or was it sponsored by Wiki? And this is just exactly what Emir of Kano is saying. The level of psychophancy among these politicians, you can't even differentiate them from, the illiterates. Now, take your time, watch this video just for you to hear from him what he said about Nigerian politicians, especially under this Tinubu's government. There's nothing we've not seen, especially amongst the APC politicians. Now, can you imagine that Akpabio was caught on tape saying the former governor of Sokoto State should join the APC if he wants relevance, that he should join the APC? Can you imagine that coming from a so-called president of the Senate? Nigerians, that tells you that what Emir is saying here is really the truth. Let me allow you to hear from the horse's mouth. Now take a look.
Nigeria is a classless society. If you take the people you call leaders, go to the Senate, go to the House of Reps, you can go and pick 109 Nigerians at random without election. Put them in the Senate chambers, and the results may not be different from what you're getting now. Okay? Because the truth is, you have highly educated people in government, but they behave like illiterates. They forget their education behind. When you talk about praise singing, why would a man who is an educated man, an accomplished man, why would he be a praise singer to anyone? Why would he not be able to face his boss and say, Oga, we're not doing that, this is the truth? And why would a person in authority not have the confidence to listen to those around him and take criticism? Okay. So you've got people who are supposed to be the representatives of the values of society. By the time you become a governor, honestly, you should be beyond looking for money. You have been given an opportunity to take care of the lives of millions of people, to educate children, to save lives, to provide health care, to build infrastructure. All you are thinking of is a car, a house. I mean, are you that cheap? Or some bank account, and you see them, and at the end of the day they leave office. After a few years they die, and the children are fighting over the money. Then they get the money, and then they go on drugs, and everything is wasted. That money would have been better spent educating millions of young people and saving lives. So if we really want to fix this country, we need to have a class. The ruling class needs to have values beyond stomach infrastructure. This leads to misplaced expectations. There's a role for the central bank. There's a role for the Ministry of Finance. You've got monetary policy, you have fiscal policy, you have structural policies, you have institutional reforms. And yes, I was one of those who commended the appointment of Wale Edun and Yemi Cardoso. These are two gentlemen that I've known for many years, and I have never had any question about their competence. And if you try to assess them, you've got to ask, what were they supposed to achieve? Okay. Now, going back to the beginning, you talk about 2012, and you talk about the suffering from removal of subsidy. It's simple arithmetic. If you're paying 80 naira or 65 naira per liter, and you begin to pay 160 naira per liter, costs will go up. There will be hardship. And the duty of leaders is to understand that there will be a cost to removing subsidy. And I said in 2012, if you remember from the town hall meeting, To say that there will be hardship is not an economic argument. To say that there will be a cost to removing subsidy is not an economic argument. The economic argument is, this is the cost of removing the subsidy. What is the cost of not removing the subsidy? Are you making a choice? We were in a situation where we had a hedge that we called, it was not a subsidy, it was a hedge. You see, a subsidy by definition, the government says, I will pay X% of the price. That is a subsidy. I'll pay 20% of the price, whatever it is. Price goes up, you pay more, I pay more. Price goes down, you pay less, I pay less. What we had in this country is what in risk management you call a naked hedge, the worst possible derivative you can have. The government said to Nigerians, 200 million Nigerians, you will not pay more than X amount per liter on petrol, no matter what the price of petrol is. So all price goes up from $40 to $140, the federal government pays the difference. Exchange rate moves from 155 to 300, the government pays the difference. Interest rates move from 5% to 15%, the government pays it. Remember, the price of petrol and what the calculations include the cost of crude, the cost of refined product, the cost of transportation, even interest rates, demurrage. If you look at the template, all of those amounts were being absorbed. The federal government was saying, I have an unlimited pocket. So we moved from a point where we were using revenues to pay subsidy to where we had to borrow money to pay subsidy to where we had to borrow money to pay interest on the borrowed money. We had become bankrupt. Anyone who takes a naked hedge ends up being bankrupted, especially with a commodity where you don't control the price. So this was the point in 2012. Now, if Nigerians had allowed the Jonathan government to remove the subsidy in 2011, there would have been pain. But that pain would have been a very, very tiny fraction of what we are facing today. This is the cost of delay. At that time, we worked out the numbers in the central bank, and I stood up and put my credibility on the line and said, remove the subsidy today, inflation moves up from 11% to 13%. I will bring it down in a year. We will not have had 30-something% inflation. Okay? That was where we were. Now, people like my friend Kaide Fayemi here and his APC friends had Occupy Nigeria, came out on the streets, told us we could not do it. And I remember calling one of my friends. And this is, we should talk about these things because it's important. There's a kind of poetic justice. That it is actually the people who led the Occupy Nigeria movement who ended up seeing the problem, inheriting the problem, and having to do it. And I remember calling one of my friends at that time and said, look, one of my closest friends, saying, you know that what we're doing is right. He said, yes, I know. I said, why? He said, well, I'm in opposition. My job is to make the government look bad. You know, you are the governor of central bank, you go and defend your government. Just politics. And you know, the only reason the government compromised at that time, maybe we should know this, the only reason the government compromised and did 50% not 100% was Boko Haram. Because there were thousands of Nigerians on the streets in Lagos and Kano and Kaduna and all that. At the time when we had suicide bombers in the country. And there was a fear. If one day one of these suicide bombers goes to these Nigerians and explodes the bomb and you have 200 corpses, it will no longer be about subsidy. So you have to give President Jonathan the credit. He was determined to do it, but at the end of the day, the compromise was made, okay, to save Nigerian lives. Now, what has the central bank achieved? Central bank's role is to provide stability. The central bank does not deliver growth. It does not deliver employment. It provides an environment that is conducive to growth. Okay? Now, and the central bank has achieved it. You don't want inflation moving from 10% to 15% to 20% to 25%, because as I said a few weeks ago at NESG, Nigerians don't realize that we were on the brink of hyperinflation. Beyond a certain rate of inflation, it becomes runaway inflation. You can't control it. You'd buy rice in the morning. By the time you come at 12 noon, the price has changed. By 4 p.m., it has changed. This is what happened in Zimbabwe. It happened in Venezuela. It happened in Argentina. We were heading for Nigeria. We're printing money like that. So we're heading for Nigeria, we're heading in the direction of Zimbabwe under Mugabe, or Uganda under Idi Amin. So inflation has been reined in. The runaway devaluation has been stopped. Yes, we're at 1,400. Nobody wants an naira at 1,400. But it's better to know that it will be 1,400 for the next 6 months, 8 months, 10 years, than to think it's 1,400 today, 2,000 tomorrow, 2,500, which is really... So the central bank's job is not to give you a strong naira. The central bank's job is not to give you low prices. The central bank's job is to reduce the volatility in the price level. And so when you assess the central bank, you've got to say, what has it done? Have you reduced volatility inflation? Have you brought it down? We're going to bring it down to single digit on your way. There's still a long way to go. Okay, I would like to see inflation come down to under 10%. It will take time. But in terms of stopping it from runaway tires, exchange rate volatility has been reduced. Now on the fiscal side, and we talk about tax reforms, those reforms, the Tax Act only takes off next year. So we must remember that before the tax reforms have kicked in, we have increased government revenues. We have brought down debt service ratios from 100 and something percent to about 40%. Okay, so on the revenue side, you've got to give the finance ministry credit for what it's done. Now, is there more to do? Yes. And the way where the problem is what Atedo has mentioned, is the expenditure side.
Yes.
Okay, the quality of spending. And some of these things we've got to be honest with ourselves. Look, why do we need 48 ministers? Why do we need dozens of vehicles when we're moving around in convoys or traveling all over the country?
So, Your Highness, that brings me to that question which I'm asking, which is, do we have an affliction that affects the hearing of our leaders and unable to listen to the good advice?
No, I mean...
If we have an affliction, we'll get a doctor to fix it.
Yeah, so your question started with the finance minister and central bank governor, and we're saying that there are things that are beyond them when you're dealing with the economy. So I would go along with that and say you've got to look at overheads. You've got to look at things like your contract processing, procurement process, okay? There's still questions about inflated contracts. There are questions about transparency. There are questions, all this money is coming into the federal, and this at federal, state, and local level, there are serious questions about how the money that is being raised is being used. And the arithmetic is simple. If you stop paying subsidy, why are we still borrowing more? Because if you've filled a hole, we should have the revenue to fund expenditure. But we fill in one hole and dig in a bigger hole. So this government needs to look at institutions. It needs to look at the quality of spending. It needs to understand that if you keep making more money and keep blowing it away, you're going to undo what you have done. But apart from that, I think a lot of good has been done, okay? But we still have to look at what needs to.
Okay, I would ask this question, Your Royal Highness, one more time, and I hope I get a straight answer to it. Nigerian leaders, from as long as I can remember since I've been in this country, they seem to not be listening to wise counsel. Even the man that you said was President Jonathan at the time had the good counsel to say, no matter what happens with Boko Haram and the rest of them, this is wise counsel, not just from the then SLS governor of CBN, from a great mind like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Everybody said this is the right thing. In fact, I remember you mentioned on Channels Television, where I was the GM then, that we're on the precipice, about to fall. You said it. So why will that president not take the right action, and then the one after, and now the one that is there now knowing what the answers are from the experts, the likes of Wale and the likes of Yomi Cardoso and all the other brilliant minds that are working with him. Why are they not doing it?
So guys, you have seen it for yourself. I'm going to take you through some of the reactions from Nigerians. The headline here posted on Twitter says, Nigeria is a classless society where you have highly educated people in government who behave like illiterates and turn to praise singers. Emir of Kano Sanusi blasts Nigerian politicians in power. And now Nigerians are reacting that all Nigerian politicians in government offices are with fake and forged certificates. It's actually the opposite. It's actually the opposite. Nigeria is a contraption where highly educated people rig election and support illiterates to become president, governor, lawmakers. They blame blame same government. Okay, this is somebody saying his mind. Another person said every evil will expire one day. This person said I will, and this person said I will partially agree with him, but he's also an elite who is also educated, but thanks to the tone of corrupt politicians, he does not speak up against the corruption. His followers are being killed in the north. How many times has he called Fulani bandits terrorists? Speak up, or speak up, or speak up. This is what this person is saying, and it makes sense, you know. Emir of Kano, how many times have you spoken up, especially against the buying of Christians in the north? This person say Emir Sanusi North, Yemi Osibanjo West, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala East, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan South. These are the best people I have full hope and confidence of leading Nigeria forward. People who aren't politically driven or motivated, but to serve the people's interest. That's what this person is saying. Sanusi, Osibanjo, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Goodluck Jonathan. These are the four people this person said this person says he has confidence in. And another person said dirty politics. There is independent arm of government now acting as one, and each working so hard to become more stupid than the other. In all this, Nigerians suffer and die while living in hell. I'm just wondering when this country is going to be all right. This person said, let me tag Bashir Ahmad. He dislikes this kind of intellectual discussion. All his strength is devoted to pettiness, zombie party loyalists, religious extremism, and selfish interests. And this other person here said he was once the CBN governor. They always find their voice once they leave power, birds of the same feather. This person said sub-Saharan African politicians need to have value that has nothing to do with stomach infrastructure. Look at Paul Biya at 92. Can he manage a profitable small poultry farm in real life? Oh my God, this is really it. Paul Biya, can he manage a poultry farm at his age? He can't, but he still wants to be in power, you know. And this other person here said, this man mistakes paper degree for education. The people you think are highly educated only went to school. That is, they passed through school without acquiring education. That is why they behave like illiterates. He's absolutely right. That's what this other person is saying, that he is absolutely right. And this other person here said, first time to agree with a northerner. He's absolutely speaking fact. He's a good example of an educated person who behaves like an illiterate. His tenure as CBN governor was filled with nepotism, tribalism, favoritism, and all the evil he preached publicly. Now, wow. And this other person said, Tinubu is one of the most insecure presidents I've ever seen in Nigeria. But a lot thought otherwise because they failed to realize the implication of leader getting mad when he's criticized. And this other person said, what was his contribution to support Peter Obi in 2027? I guess he was busy. I guess he was busy also displaying his own illiteracy by supporting religious tickets over competence. I think this person just nailed it, you know. This person just nailed it. Did he support the voice of the youth? Our leaders are classless indeed. Educated people who do not have their own will. Educated governors leaving their seat to another state just to stand and wave goodbye to the president and still fly to another country to wave welcome to him. Shameless swear. These Nigerians are really angry. This person say our senators and governors are examples of classless people that never puts the nation first over politics. This was a money-hungry sycophant. They are not big men. They are just hungry thieves. No moral, no integrity, no conscience. Just empty consumers, no conviction, no value. Hey. And this person said, look, the guy, a nonsensical Boko Haram Islamist turned Olusukori will hide behind one finger and claim to be a saint. This guy that sold Intercontinental Bank to the bank's debtors under a shady deal and sold to Oceanic Bank majority because Akingbola and Cecilia are Christians. God, this one is speaking another thing. Hey, this is a big allegation. Oh my God. And this person say, historical, materialistic look. Look at him. Hey, and this other person say, how is he any different? Same man who was deep in the same system until it stopped favoring him. This person say, if Sanusi is from the east, he won't sit comfortably and speaking English there, because the whole question would have been about the ravaging terrorists from his surrounding that are spreading through the country. I think this is true, honestly, you know. And this person said this man should be the Sudan of Sokoto, heading the Muslim in Nigeria, not the one wagging war against social media. He is right through his guilty. He is right, though he's guilty of what he said. He maintained this as CBN governor and emir, but became guilty after he was dethroned. Oshomole, Sanusi, Soludo, and others are all in a ship. Just enjoy their rhetorics, not what they do or represent. Oh my God. Yeah, in Nigeria, so Peter Obi came out to contest in 2023, and what was this man did to support him? What did he do to support Peter Obi? And this other person said, I've never shared this man's ideologies because he is deceit. Up to today, he never apologized to the family of Gideon Akaluka, whose head was cut off by Fulani jihadists. The champion. Those, oh my God, I will just stop here. So guys, some people agree with Sanusi while others disagree with him. I don't know what your takes are, but you know, he speaks, his words make some level of sense. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification. Thank you.